Being neighborly is sometimes so difficult to be.
Yes, absolutely.
So the broadcast that came out was a little bit unusual. Maybe you've heard it before, but for all the time I've been doing this, I've never heard it. And that was that somebody was complaining that there was a car parked in front of their house.
Yes, these calls typically come in on an average of 5 to 10 times a week for us, sometimes more depending on how often somebody's parking in front of somebody's home.
Now, is this about where they're supposed to have a permit and they don't have a permit?
So there are some neighborhoods in our city, in the city of Buena Park, that have permits only, and you have to pay an annual fee. Senior residents, I believe it's free, but there are some areas where you have to have a permit to park. There are other parts in our city, the majority of the parts in our city, where you don't have to have a permit to park.
And those are some of the phone calls you're getting for, right?
Yes.
You know, on one hand, I could say, why would someone bother the police department about something like that? The other side of it is, it's your job and that's what you got to do. We won't answer that. I'll save you from that. But what do you do when you get a call like that?
So we come out and we just inform the reporting party that, unfortunately, there's not much enforcement we can do on our end. If the vehicle's illegally parked, it's a public street, somebody has a right to park in front of your home. If it's your neighbor and they continue to park in front of your home, we would encourage you to have a conversation, a friendly conversation with your neighbor, and just say, can you kindly park your car in front of your home, so that you can park your car in front of your own home. Unfortunately, there are people that are inconsiderate and they don't take other people's opinions very well, and they'll continue to do it. But we would encourage you guys to have a friendly conversation, because all we're going to do is come out and have a conversation with both of you and basically telling you that there's not much we can do at this point.
Instead of sending an officer, is there another resource, maybe the dispatch center, that can guide these people towards the right solution?
Yes, our dispatch, when you call in to report a crime or report an information that you're asking for assistance, our dispatchers are very knowledgeable on what officers can provide as far as assistance. And our dispatchers can let somebody know over the phone, like, hey, this is what's going to happen. There's no crime here. They'll also, actually give you the same advice that we would most of the time. So, yes, our dispatchers are very knowledgeable with information and just ask.
But then a lot of times they still want to talk to an officer at the scene.
Right, and that's fine too. We'll send an officer out if they need it, speak to an officer directly. And sometimes people are more comfortable talking to an officer in person and getting firsthand knowledge of what they are allowed to do and what not allowed to do.
Wow, it's hard being a good neighbor, isn't it?
Yes, it is, absolutely.
015 copy 1664 6921 San Diego. 233 behind it for an update.
Here we are, kids. Here we are. Who's got it?
1303 to 503 North South Beach in front of the Devon Pen. We're going to hit it up yet. Number 1 lane, still continuing northbound.
Let's go, people, move.
Now up number 1, continuing northbound beach. Alright, we're set to make either a U-turn or a turn into the causeway. Having set up to make a U-turn or pull into the quality inn. So you got 3 units. 3 units, nice. There's a southbound turn.
7397 as well.
Sam 3 with 13.
time's over. We don't go over soon. There we go.
Fueling on two. Okay, 10. Heavy on Capitan West Beach.
Is he yielding? Yes. Nice.
Heavy at 960 entry.
All right, guys.
Pick it up.
Yeah, if you want to get out and like go stand behind that tree so you guys have coverage, that'd be good.
Get to the front one.
Pepper, 8 Bravo Uniform Romeo, 596.
There's another guy again. Yeah. My bad.
Passenger, with your right hand, open the door from the outside.
Alright, what can I get for you? Yes, I do.
Passenger, step out, face away from us, keep your hands up. Hands up. Okay? Walk back to the sound of the noise.
That's sweet. Because it could be someone in the back seat or something too, right? Yeah. Oh, gotcha. Like the parameters. Okay.
We drove up here and it was a report of a stolen vehicle, correct?
Yes, we got notified through our dispatch of a camera that we have set up on Beach Boulevard. It will notify our dispatch if there's a stolen vehicle that passes through. They received information that there was a stolen vehicle traveling on Beach Boulevard, and one of our officers located the vehicle shortly after.
There were a lot of police cars here, and I noticed that there were some that were blocking the driveway coming from the businesses. There was one at the end of the street so that cars weren't coming through. There was one at Beach Boulevard, and then there were a bunch more. It was interesting to watch the people getting out of the car. Is there a risk when all of that is going on?
Absolutely, there's a lot of risks. We don't know who these people are. We don't know why they're driving a stolen car. We don't know if they've committed other crimes and they stole this car in the commission of that crime. We don't know if they have weapons. We don't know how many people in the car. It obviously had dark tinted windows. So for safety reasons, we have several officers that will show up, and each officer has a specialized assignment during those types of felony car stops.
The canine was here as well. What is the job of the canine in a situation like this?
We use the canine as well for one, intimidation. Who wants to get bit by a dog? You know, and if that dog is let go and released off of the leash, that dog is going to go and bite somebody. And usually if somebody's refusing to get out of the car, or if they come out of the car with a weapon, or if they come out and become combative, we can allow that dog to assist us in taking that subject into custody.
Describe or explain to me the weapons that the officers had during this this high-risk situation.
So our officers are pointing our department-issued firearms. We also have a less lethal shotgun, which has a beanbag round in it. So if the subject comes out with something that is potentially not as lethal, say they have a knife or a bat or something that we can use to maybe eliminate that threat by using the less lethal shotgun, then we'll use that. It gives us options, and officers love to have options.
So the driver was taken out, and then the passenger, she seemed to be stumbling a little bit. Does that put some caution in the officer's eyes when they see that she's not keeping her arms up and she's fiddling with her waistband?
Right. I mean, a lot of times these people are nervous, they're scared, which rightfully they should be. They have guns being pointed at them, they have rifles being pointed at them. And maybe they've never been in this type of situation before. Maybe they're just an innocent person in the car and had no knowledge that that vehicle is stolen. We don't know. So we have to take everything into account, and we'll continue to give orders, and we'll continue to give people directions. Hopefully they listen and they follow those directions.
So as we've been talking, the cars, the people have been taken away, the officers have been released. The tow truck now comes, and the tow truck is going to store the car, take the car. What are they going to do?
Right, so they're going to come out, they're going to take that car, and they're going to put it at their storage yard, and we contact the victim who owns the car, and we say, hey, we recovered your vehicle, and it's over at this tow yard, and then they make arrangements to go and get their vehicle back.
I'm assuming there must be a pretty high cost to take the car to the storage yard and to go through all that process.
Yeah, generally speaking, there is a release fee, and then there is a storage fee that the tow company charges, but that's something that's usually worked out through the insurance company. Now, unfortunately, if somebody doesn't have car insurance, then they would probably have to come out of pocket for that. But yeah, it's usually taken care of through the car insurance.
What happens to the two individuals that were pulled from the car?
So both of them will go down to our city jail. They'll be interviewed. If it's determined that both of them are going to be charged with a crime and they're felony crimes, then they'll be transported to Orange County Jail. If at some point it's determined that neither one of them are going to be charged with a crime, then they are released from our jail.
It's a whole process, isn't it? From the time you contact them to the time everything's wrapped up. We haven't even talked about the reports that are also written with this whole situation.
Right. It's very time consuming. Anytime you get a crime in progress, it becomes, long term as far as our commitment to those officers handling that case from start to finish.
Let's go back a little bit to the cameras that you mentioned. Tell me more about these cameras that spot the stolen vehicle.
So we have a system through that we work with a company called Flock, and they have cameras throughout Orange County, LA County, and pretty much in California, and they're known nationwide. They assist us with locating stolen vehicles. They work with the Department of Justice as well, and we have them set up throughout our city, and those cameras will then alert our dispatchers or our officers and say, hey, there's a stolen vehicle traveling this direction on this street, and there's a description of that vehicle, and there's also an image of that vehicle. So if you plan on committing a crime in Buena Park and you are driving through our city, more than likely you're going to be caught on camera.
Yes. What about other types of crimes that a vehicle was involved? It's not just stolen vehicles, right?
Correct. It's vehicles that are being looked at and watched, and if there's somebody that's, like, say there's a kidnapping, and that vehicle description comes out and that license plates come out, that will assist us in trying to locate those people, especially if they're traveling through Buena Park. It will notify us that, hey, this vehicle was used in a kidnapping or a child abduction. So there's a lot of good use that comes from this stuff. As well as if there's a crime that's committed, such as an armed robbery, we can hopefully obtain images of the driver, of the vehicle, and go from there.
I could see some people think that maybe that's a little bit Big Brother, but the other side of it is if you're not doing anything wrong, don't worry about it.
Right, and it's not like we're retaining this information for long periods of time. There is laws that state how long we can hold this information, but yes, they are very, very resourceful to our police department as well as other police departments.
That's a crazy way to find the people that are wanted, the cars that are wanted. And I'm sure with everything that goes on, a little bit more help for the law enforcement is a good thing.
Right. And I can tell you there are countless times how many times this camera system has assisted our detectives in locating people and locating victims of crimes, suspects of crimes, and has assisted us in the prosecution of those people that were arrested for crimes.
You know, I hope that Crime Watch, and in particular this show, shows the public and the people that watch this that there's so many different things and situations that a police officer handles just in the course of a shift.
Yes, we respond to so many different types of calls on a daily basis. There's always something new for us to handle. It might be the same type of call, but there's always a different circumstance to that call.
Well, and you have to be a protector, a defender, a counselor, a friend, a pal. You know, you were the one who gave the hug to the person that was jumping or trying to jump. You know, it's amazing the amount of tools, not just that you have in your uniform, but that you have in your brain and in your training and experience.
Right, and our job is every day is a new day. Every day is a learning day for us. We go to so many different types of training classes, and we're trained on a variety of things. You know, you have a lawyer that is trained in law, right? You have a doctor that's trained in their particular science or whatever their degree is as far as their specialty, right? But when it comes to law enforcement, we have to have the ability to wear many hats. You know, between mental health, between crime, between counseling, between dealing with neighbors parking in front of their homes, to so many different things at so many different times. You have to have that ability to be able to change lanes every day and get into something.
It's pretty amazing.
Yes.
If you have any questions about tonight's show, you can call the Buena Park Police Department at 562-3901. I say it once, I'll say it every single time. The Buena Park Police Department has a great outreach on the social media platforms, and you need to follow them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. They don't make me say that. I follow them, and I always find out so many interesting things that it's just the right thing to do. With Sergeant Chad Weaver of the Buena Park Police Department, I'm Jane Cameron. Thanks for watching.